DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service, moving you forward.
Hello and welcome to DETV News, Delaware's trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson. It's time for fireworks. Coming up, you'll know where and when to see them this holiday weekend. And one lucky Delawarean is $302,000 richer thanks to DE Wins, the first state's vaccine incentive program. But first, all eyes are on Dover, where June 30th means the end of the legislative session. Usually that comes with heated budget debates that last until the wee hours of the morning, but not this year. With state revenues soaring, the House and Senate set a whopping $4.8 billion budget to Governor John Carney several days early and passed an historic $1.3 billion bond bill. Included in the budget is a $500 raise for state workers, body cameras for police, and increased mental health services for students. The bond bill contains $500 million for transportation and infrastructure, courthouses in Sussex County, and a new school on Wilmington's east side. Carney says two areas with the largest increases in one-time spending will be education and the infrastructure.
And I think the areas where we've been able to make investments that we wouldn't have really been able to make at the level that we can make this year, two things. One is in education. And in particular, our opportunity funding, which the legislature has approved, we're able to put many more dollars, millions more dollars into that program, which really goes to schools that have the most difficult students from disadvantaged backgrounds and English learners. So additional resources for those teachers and staff working hard with those children. And that's a big priority for me. So that's one area. The other area is investments in basic infrastructure, water and wastewater and economic development, business parks and sites. We have a site readiness fund that's been approved by the legislature, now needs to be funded. So that, for instance, we have lots of sites across the state that need to be redeveloped, cleaned up along our coastal areas and some of the cities and towns, where if you clean up these abandoned and polluted sites, you can create new growth and new economic and business opportunities. So that's the other area that I would say, those one-time expenses in our capital budget.
Thanks to increased state revenues, the state's rainy day fund went untouched, and lawmakers voted to replenish a separate reserve fund. Other legislative action means you better remember to bring your own reusable bags when you go shopping. You may recall single-use plastic bags were banned back in January with the intent to cut down on 8 million tons of plastic that ends up in our oceans every year. Stores got around the law by providing shoppers with thicker plastic bags designed to be reusable, but customers just weren't bringing them back as intended. Lawmakers closed that loophole by banning the thicker bags effective July 1st of 2022. The new bag ban has a few exceptions for raw meat and fish, dry cleaning, and household waste. Wrapping up in Dover, reporter Matt Ford will shed light on a new law that encourages better behavior online and shields kids from cyberbullying.
The COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in kids and teens using digital devices, not just for personal use, but for educational use as well. For many young people during the pandemic, the only contact they had with their peers was virtual. While there are benefits that can result from online interactions, like connecting kids to those around the world, it doesn't eliminate the risks.
When we were in school, just as the internet was starting to form, we weren't facing this type of world where the line between the school day and after school and the line between real life and the digital world was much clearer. But now the lines have been blurred.
Popular apps like TikTok and Snapchat are pervasive, and the reach and influence of digital media platforms only continue to expand. During the COVID-19 pandemic, students have been relying heavily on digital devices and online learning more than ever. highlighting the urgent need to teach students about cyber safety and digital citizenship. Digital citizenship on a basic level refers to the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, and digital devices to engage with society on any level. New legislation proposed just last week by Senator Sarah McBride, Senate Bill 195, called the Digital Citizenship Education Act, sets guidelines for digital behavior and aims to combat cyberbullying.
The rise of online bullying, the rise of misinformation, and the rise of fraudulent information on the internet really does present a clear and significant danger to our health, to our economy, to our democracy. So this legislation would help to ensure that young people are better prepared, one, to navigate circumstances where they might face cyberbullying, but also to understand more fully the impact, the dangerous impact that cyberbullying can have on young people.
This act requires the Department of Education to develop and maintain evidence-based media literacy standards for use by school districts and charter schools serving students in grades kindergarten through 12.
They're in the digital world so much that they have a lot of understanding of how to use equipment and where to go and what media to be a part of or what's in for them. But they don't always have the broader understanding of what it means to discern information, what it means to put something out there and know that when it's out there, it's out there.
According to the bill, the standards and materials must be age appropriate and must address appropriate, responsible, and healthy behavior online. According to Light, an organization that tracks online harassment, there has been a 70% increase in cyberbullying over the past year.
As a parent, you need to teach your children this kind of material as well. Like they need to understand what's safe and what's not safe, and how to learn to recognize, because you're not going to be with them all the time. They are going to have access to all kinds of things that you're not a part of. So it's important that you have those conversations before they get to a place where they're in a dangerous situation.
So what should you do if you find your child is the victim of cyberbullying? Well, the state has a wide array of resources available to victims, as well as laws to protect them. As for Senate Bill 195, McBride tells us that the bill is on its way to become law next session. In Wilmington, Matt Ford, DETV News.
Thanks, Matt. Stay with us during the break. We'll have more news ahead.
The COVID-19 vaccines are going to help us all get back to the moments we miss.
It's totally normal to have questions. I did too. That's why it's so important to get informed.
Ask your doctor and get the facts. It's up to you.
Well, first you need to know it's okay for you to have that dream. You hopefully find someone that's been there. They show you the knowledge, give you the confidence. I mean, it's still hard work, but everything's better with someone at your side. And what better way than junior achievement? I call that success.
The Christiana Mall was rocked by a brazen daytime fatal shooting. 24-year-old Shadea McNear of Philadelphia was charged with manslaughter in the killing of her 27-year-old girlfriend. McNear was in the backseat of a car driven by her girlfriend Monday afternoon when the two argued and McNear shot her, according to police. McNear is being held on a $250,000 cash bail. Wilmington Mayor Mike Purzycki urged residents to pressure state lawmakers to reform gun laws, suggesting Delaware doesn't need an open carry law, which he says creates a culture that glorifies guns. The murder of a 14-year-old boy, along with a series of shootings around the city, prompted Purzycki and other officials to meet with area residents to discuss ways to combat the surge in gun violence. Among other things, the mayor is calling for upgraded LED lighting with the capacity to add surveillance cameras and using the majority of the $55 million slated for Wilmington from the American Rescue Plan to improve neighborhoods. 74 people have been shot in the city this year, 14 fatally. That's the most people shot this early in the year since 2017, when the city's shootings and homicides hit a record high. A Newcastle woman employed at a Bear Area daycare center was sentenced to life in prison for murdering an infant back in September of 2019. Dejanay Ferguson pled guilty in April to first-degree murder for smothering a 4-month-old at the Little People Child Development Center. According to police, Ferguson covered the mouth and nose of the baby girl, who eventually became unresponsive, and only informed the facility owner of wrongdoing more than 20 minutes later. While investigating the case, police discovered Ferguson had abused at least 4 other children at the center. In the midst of a nationwide child care staffing shortage, Delaware is no exception. Facilities are struggling to find adequate employees, and officials say the shortage of daycare providers dropped dramatically during the pandemic.
We have wait lists now, and it's a combination of staffing as well as we're still on some COVID restrictions with spacing and how many children we can take based on the 3 feet guidelines that are still in place.
With parents beginning to return to work, the worries of finding childcare may continue to grow. It looks like the first state might reach President Biden's goal of getting 70% of Delawareans vaccinated by July 4th. Governor Carney says the benchmark is getting very close.
Fully vaccinated, closing in on 500,000 people. We're just short of our goal of 70%. You can see it there, 69.8%. We could really round that up to 70%. We'd be there, but we're going to hit the exact number in the next couple of days. We've got about 1,500 shots to get in arms to join the 16 other states and the District of Columbia that have reached President Biden's goal of 70% of adult Americans to be vaccinated by July 4th, so we can celebrate Independence Day.
Carney is hoping young people between the ages of 18 to 34 roll up their sleeves to get their shots before Independence Day. As for this Independence Day weekend, thousands of us will head to watch a fireworks display, but not everyone enjoys the pyrotechnics. Here with more on that is our health reporter, Donnie Smith.
As Americans are gearing up for the 4th of July weekend, many are looking forward to time off, cookouts, and of course, fireworks. However, it's not a welcome celebration for all. Many people with family pets, anxiety, or those suffering with PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder have a difficult time getting through what feels like a long, scary night. In particular, our military veterans, especially those that served in active combat, can be extremely triggered by fireworks displays. For them, the loud sounds and smell can make them feel like they are literally back in a war zone. Recent studies show that on average, 12.9% of veterans have PTSD. Dan Crimmins, a United States Army veteran who served 2 tours in Iraq from 2002 to 2009, and then with the National Guard until 2011, shared with me his experience living and healing from PTSD and his tools for getting through a weekend of 4th of July fireworks.
My name is Daniel Crimmins. I was in the U.S. Army from 2002 until 2011. Most of that was with 3rd Infantry Division, 3rd Brigade, 3rd ID out of Fort Benning. And I was in Iraq 2005 and 2007, 2008. Growing up, I've never had an issue with fireworks. It was not a problem. I have been home for coming up on 10 years now. So my first 4th of July back, I had a full dissociative episode. The smell is the same, the sound is the same. And that was at a 4th of July display in Columbus when I was still, before I came home. So I knew exactly what it was, and still I was overwhelmed. I've gotten better as the years have gone by, and especially for 4th of July fireworks, I know they're coming. I always jump when they first start, but when that happened, I kind of just assumed it was a one-off. I didn't really think about it. I hadn't really had an issue with panic attacks or PTSD before then. It took me a little while to get into the system and realize that I was dealing with PTSD. I didn't get diagnosed until I'd been out 2 years out of active duty, so 2009, 2010-ish. It started as anxiety, tightness in the chest, tightness of breath, started hyperventilating. Shortly, I started smelling dust and blood, stuff that wasn't there. And we were in a parking garage watching it. And I took a knee and got down behind a wall and really just fully forgot where I was, forgot when I was. It was a very physical response. Started sweating real hard. Mouth went dry. My heart rate went up, like my chest was pounding. So it was extremely unpleasant. As far as specifically with the fireworks, mindfulness, grounding, being present, understanding that, knowing what it is. It's fireworks. It's not incoming fire. It's not gunfire. It's not a gunfight, and I'm not involved. And realizing that the anxiety that I feel during fireworks is unpleasant, but it's okay. It's going to pass. It's not actually going to hurt me. And really, I think it's just time. It's just, it takes time to heal and readjust to living at home. Talking about it and being open about it has been like the most helpful thing for me to recover and get back to being a regular person.
Some additional ideas for dealing with fireworks if they trigger you. 1, make a plan for the night. Information is available online regarding the location and time for fireworks. 2, invest in noise-canceling headphones, machines, or earplugs to block out noise or listen to music. 3, leave the area if you can. If you live too close to fireworks, consider taking a trip away from that location. 4, accept your reactions. Don't be so hard on yourself. It is normal to struggle with the disruptive noise. And as Dan mentioned, practice mindfulness techniques and grounding activities like breathing exercises and sitting with your back against the wall. 6, lastly, talk about it. Your support network will be happy to help you through the event. If you are a veteran struggling with PTSD, Dan highly recommends utilizing the mental health resources available through Veteran Affairs. Ongoing therapy, inpatient or outpatient services, as well as other resources can make recovery possible. Speaking for myself, I was deeply moved to hear Dan's firsthand experience with PTSD and want to thank him for his transparency and vulnerability during our conversation. Whether you are aware of it or not, it is highly likely you have a neighbor that is a veteran or a person struggling privately with PTSD or anxiety. I hope everyone will be more considerate and kinder to each other this weekend and in the future. I'm Donnie Bougely Smith. This is your health report for the week. I'll see you next time. Back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Donnie. In other health news, the Dell Health LLC on Lancaster Avenue held its ribbon-cutting ceremony earlier this week. The healthcare agency aims to bring primary care services to everyone in and around the Wilmington area. County Executive Matt Meyer was on hand for the ceremony.
So today we're here at Dell Care Health Solutions. We're here at Dell Care Health Solutions, 2 extraordinary enterprising women, nurse practitioners, PhDs, who've decided they could get jobs anywhere. Let's get serious. They're nurse practitioners in the healthcare field. What they decided to do in the middle of a pandemic was start a healthcare facility to assist those most in need. A primary care facility right at 2801 Lancaster Avenue. Healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right. We got to get feet on the ground. We have to assist people on the front lines, and these 2 women in this clinic is doing it. High quality healthcare right here in Wilmington.
And here's our holiday weekend forecast coming up, so stay with us during the break.
If you love concerts and live theater going to baseball games, and eating in restaurants, inside. If you love parties and the small talk with the guy who makes you iced coffee the right way, then wear a mask. And let's beat this virus so we can get back to the things we love. Mask up, America.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Back with more news. President Biden named former Delaware Governor Jack Markell to serve as a U.S. ambassador. Markell will be the U.S. ambassador to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The international group works to build evidence-based policies and standards for better lives worldwide. The position requires approval by the U.S. Senate and is based in Paris. At Delaware Park, a well-known former paddock and television replay show host died at the age of 73. Rich Glazer, who spent over 30 years as a paddock and replay host, was hired by the Thoroughbred track back in 1987 and hosted a number of shows on the on-site television feed and was often seen on cable TV recapping the day races. Turning to Sussex County now, officials there held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the grand opening of a new $2 million paramedic station in the Seaford Blades area. The new 5,000 square foot facility provides nearly 5 times the space than its predecessor, with improved access to serve homes and businesses in western Sussex County. The station will also serve as a training facility for new medics. Staying in Sussex County, some of the 5G cell phone towers in Dewey Beach that many say are an eyesore are coming down. State lawmakers announced a breakthrough in a dispute with Verizon Wireless. For many months, people in the beach town have said that better cell phone service or not, poles just don't belong on the beach. The lawmakers negotiated a deal to relocate some of the poles in the fall. The exact location has yet to be determined. Despite the agreement, a July 5th protest organized by Save Dewey Beach is still on. Now with our local sports is Nick Alessandrini. Nick?
Thanks, Lauren. And we begin today with another coaching change, this time at Woodbridge High School. The Blue Raiders have hired former William Penn coach and St. Elizabeth athletic director Marvin Dooley as their new AD and head football coach. Dooley takes over for former Woodbridge AD Ian Doss and the former Woodbridge head football coach Jed Bell. Dooley won the DIAA football state championship back in 2014 with William Penn. The coaching position that was left vacant by Dooley and St. E's will be filled in-house by the Vikings. Former Del Castle head coach Mike Lemon will take the reins for St. E's. He spent last season as the defensive coordinator. And if you haven't been paying attention to Delaware's own Nashawn Bones Highland, well, maybe you better start. The former St. George's Hawk and VCU Ram has put his full skill set on display at the 2021 NBA Draft Combine. Highland came in and measured 6'3.5" with a 6'9" wingspan. He also has impressed in the 5v5 scrimmages. He put up a 17-6-4 stat line in scrimmage 1 last week and has gotten better as the combine has progressed. Bones also tallied the quickest time among guards at the lane agility drill with a time of 10.53 seconds, and the NBA Draft.net has Bones ranked as the 19th overall prospect in this year's NBA Draft. Good luck, Bones. Staying on the hardwood, Grail Sports has announced its basketball summer league schedule, which is set to begin on July 6th at the new Grail Sports facility in Wilmington. A lot of talent will be on display this summer at Grail, as you can see some of the matchups. Sally's will get the league started at 6:30 p.m. on July 6th as they take on Emotep from Philly, followed by Dover and Newman Goretti at 8 p.m. You can check out the action on Delaware Live Sports. Now, if you're also a hooper in the area and maybe thought about an acting career, you might want to listen up because Netflix and Adam Sandler are teaming up for a film called Hustle, and they are hosting a casting call right here in Delaware. They are seeking skilled basketball players between the ages of 18 and 30 for an open tryout at the 76ers Fieldhouse on July 18th. Tryouts will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Sunday, and you can show up anytime in that range. The University of Delaware announced yesterday that Delaware Stadium, the Bob Carpenter Center, and all UD venues will be back at full capacity crowd for this upcoming 21-22 school year. Tailgating will be permitted and face masks are not required for fully vaccinated fans. Now it's time to wrap up with some of our top plays of the season, courtesy of Delaware Live Sports. This week we look back to week 1 of the fall, and there were some phenomenal plays. Getting us started at number 4 is Kaylee Longoria from DMA. It's DMA volleyball and St. Mark's volleyball from the fall. Check her out in the pink. The diving save, able to keep it alive, and the Seahawks able to get the point there. So our number 4 play, Kaylee Longoria with the big save for DMA volleyball. On to number 3, we're going to stay in the same game. This time it's St. Mark's and Katie Sanchin, and she's going to have a one-handed save herself. There's Longoria with a nice play on the other end, and then check out Sanchin, going to drive, save it, keep it alive, and St. Mark's able to get the point there. A big play back in week number 1. On to number 2, it's Declan Kirby for DMA. A lot of Seahawk this week, and here he's never going to get up the goal. First shot, no good. Second shot blocked, but third shot's a charm as he's able to stay with it and pin it to the back of the net. Declan Kirby with a big play there in week 1, and number 2 this week. Dwayne Knight from Smyrna back in the fall, the running back for the Eagles. Check him out here. It's an 80-yard touchdown run. Motion's going to take the snap, hand it off inside, break a tackle up the middle, and then show off the wheels. Able to get to the sideline 50, 40, 30. No one going to catch Wayne Knight from Smyrna. A big 80-yard touchdown run, and that's a big win for Smyrna over Dover back in the fall, and a big play at number 1 this week, and a big play on our season-long plays of the year. That's all we got for this week. Now, send it back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Nick. The invasive species known as the spotted lanternfly has made its way to northern Delaware. Marked with their black spots and red and white wings, these bugs can be a serious problem to supplies of hardwood and timber from July to December. Delawareans are advised to kill the bugs on site with insecticides and report the sightings to the Department of Agriculture. Headed to some fireworks this weekend? As promised, here are some displays to choose from. And if you cannot make it out to the fireworks, tune in to DETV Sunday evening when we will broadcast fireworks from Wilmington. And finally, so many little free libraries have been popping up throughout Newcastle County. County Executive Matt Meyer decided to hold a contest naming the 5 best decorated boxes of free books in the county. After residents voted on their favorite, Meyer declared 10 as winners and awarded $100 gift certificates to the Hockessin Bookshelf to stock the libraries. That's a wrap-up of the week in Delaware. I'm Lauren Wilson. Thanks for watching and have a great holiday weekend. We'll see you next time.